behind.
You can see massive barns just flattened and homes just flattened, and right next to it, the neighbor next door, there won't even be a tile missing off the top of the house.
Humphreys says it looks like the twister didn't go in a straight line, but kind of bounced its way around Boone County.
The National Weather Service surveyed the damage from the ground.
Eric Sorensen went along with them today, and he's here with more on what they found. And we said it kind of zigzagged, and you probably have a better idea of what the track took.
Yeah, guys, it's standard procedure that whenever there's a tornado touchdown, that the National Weather Service comes out and assesses the damage to get an idea of the wind speed, but also document the damage. Tim Hallbach and Jim Alsop were part of the team who inspected the damage from Poplar Grove to Lawrence.
Well, there's one barn completely flattened. A couple other buildings had pretty substantial damage. Really large trees there, and then a little bit down the road there was a two-story farmhouse that was completely leveled there. That was probably the most intense damage we saw.
Most typically about EF1 damage along the line. It may have been a low-end EF2 damage in the town of Lawrence, where there was a garage that was ripped off of a house, and where the train was derailed up in there. So maybe some low-end EF2 damage up there.
So we categorize these in F scale from 0 to 5. It's the enhanced Fujita scale, with 0 being the weakest tornado, 5 being the strongest tornado, and the official report is not out just yet. However, at Edwards Apple Orchard, we're looking at high EF2, perhaps EF3 rating. That means that much of the orchard there and the area surrounding it had to deal with 135 to 140 miles per hour, which is about a Category 3 hurricane.
Well, you look at those numbers, it's no surprise. We saw that video, the aerial video from LEAC. It's no surprise the damage and how widespread the damage is when you actually put the numbers on how strong that tornado was.
It looked like it may be just one tornado, but more than 15 miles long. And we'll have more on that coming up in weather in just
and
a
you'll
few
actually
minutes.
show us amateur video up in your weathercast of this tornado.
A very photogenic tornado it was.
All right, thanks a lot, Eric.
Well, several people...
Here's a look at that video taken by Kevin Velasquez on the west side of Poplar Grove. So this is looking off to the north as the tornado is just about to go over Edwards Apple Orchard and then move off towards the north and the east. Very, very impressive video, so we thank him for sending that in. Many pictures, you know, in this digital age, it was easy to take pictures. This is from John Hamaker, courtesy of the Rockford Register-Star. From the other vantage point, this is looking south from the North Boone School area as the school was on lockdown for good reason when you can see a tornado like that in the distance. Want to show you the Doppler radar. This is exactly what those meteorologists from the National Weather Service were looking at yesterday when they issued that tornado warning. Here's what the display looked like. Considering that way down here is Romeoville, and that's where the Weather Service radar is, where you see colors in red, that is the wind moving away from the radar. When you see colors in green, that's wind moving toward the radar. So where these get real close together, that's where you get the spin up, and that's where the tornado was occurring yesterday afternoon. And we tracked that off here towards the north. It barely missed Capron. We talk about Poplar Grove, but this was just as near to Capron as it was to Poplar Grove. And then it eventually moved up here just north of Harvard. Right here is where Lawrence is, where it flipped over that train along the Union Pacific track. So amazing to see a tornado of this strength. And when I asked Jim Alsop of the National Weather Service what he thought of it, one word he said to describe yesterday was a total freak of nature. Live pictures on the Skywatch tonight over downtown Rockford. It's quiet. Nice to see a quiet weather pattern for a change. However, it looks like we're going to deal with just a little bit of snow in the offing. Temperatures right now are into the low 30s. As we cool things off, notice we're switching it over to rain into snow out here towards the west, so likely we will switch over later on tonight and into tomorrow. Now, the thing is, most of the moisture is already pushed away, so if anything, could be a dusting of snow tonight. 28 degrees with a little bit of light rain switching over to snow, and then tomorrow mostly sunny skies, and it'll remain mild with temperatures up around 40. So here are the severe thunderstorms, nasty damage in and around Springfield, Missouri. They had a direct hit by a tornado yesterday, moved just south of St. Louis, and of course ours, which moved up into Kenosha County, and the Weather Service there says it was EF1 damage, so these aren't weak tornadoes. Cold air begins to filter in behind it, so we are going to change from a springtime weather pattern back to winter. Here's that chance of seeing a little bit of light snow as we go during the evening and overnight for tonight, but it's probably not going to stick. Temperatures remaining at or slightly above freezing. For tomorrow, we go back up to around 40 degrees with lots of sunshine around. Our next system working down the pike as we head in towards Thursday will give us a good deal of snow. And again, this is going to be tough to accumulate because temperatures are just slightly above freezing. So we'll go with 1 to 3 inches if it comes down high enough or heavy enough during a time for Thursday. Friday could be a flurry or two, and then temperatures really fall off back into the winter time. What we should see as we go into Monday and Tuesday of next week.
You know, when they say if you don't like the weather in northern Illinois, just wait a few hours, but I don't think anybody expected one day we have a tornado and 2 days later we have 3 inches of snow, or up to 3 inches of snow.
I know. It would be nice for the Edwards family and everyone else that was affected by the tornado if we had quiet weather. They don't want to see any snow on top of the rubble. They need to pick it up.
People. All right, thanks a lot, Eric.
Coming up on 13 News at 5, one former Cub